Well, this year, the Wisconsin Historical Society marks its 175th year of collecting, preserving, and sharing history.
They're sharing stories of the changemakers and visionaries in our state that you might not have heard of before.
To celebrate June being Pride Month, the Historical Society has added 8 new stories about history makers in the LGBTQ communities. Angela Titus from the Historical Society joins us with more on this. Angela, thanks for being with us today.
Hi, Angela. Good to see you.
Hello, it's great to be back on the program.
Can you share a couple of the stories?
Yes, this month, as you mentioned, we're halfway through actually our 175th celebration. And today I wanted to share a couple of stories of figures in the state's LGBTQ plus history.
So, let's talk about Donna Burkett and Menonia Evans. Who are they?
Sure. So this is actually a story about a couple, and they're a lesbian couple who pushed for same-sex marriage rights. In 1971, they applied to a Milwaukee County clerk for a marriage license, and after being refused, they filed a federal lawsuit. And their story made national news and drew attention to marriage inequality. And their example actually encouraged others to continue the fight. And in 2015, more than 4 decades later, as you know, same-sex marriage finally became legal in all 50 states.
It took a while, but they started the ball going.
Yes, they did.
You have another story about David Carter. Tell us about him.
Sure. David Carter is an author who got involved in LGBTQ plus activism while he was a graduate student here at University of Wisconsin-Madison. So after leaving UW, he moved to New York in 1985 and began to research the police raid at the Stonewall Inn and the responding actions by the LGBTQ plus community. Now, this is widely considered to be the turning point that led to the modern LGBTQ plus civil rights movement. And in 2004, he actually published a highly regarded book on the uprising, and that was largely based on the interviews of those who experienced these events firsthand.
Why is it important to share some of these unknown stories? I mean, a lot of people have never heard these names before.
You know, it's really important that we tell the stories of all Wisconsinites, whether they're really well known or not. Many of these stories are just of everyday folks or groups of people. The 8 stories on our website this month feature just a few of those change makers with ties to the state. And they had an impact here in the state, but also across the country, as you heard in those 2 stories.
So where can people read more about all of the 8 stories you're highlighting this month? And really, all the stories you've shared throughout the campaign. Yeah, it's all people and stories people in Wisconsin should know about.
Yes, it's really been fun for us to highlight these figures in the state's history. We've published 3 volumes of Wisconsin's LGBTQ plus history, actually, including one that just came out this month. And we also have not just these 8 stories, but also the rest of the campaign, the 175th campaign. All of the stories I mentioned are at wisconsinhistory.org.
Great reading, great summer reading.
Angela, thanks so much. Great to see you. Hope to see you in the studio very soon, or maybe we'll see you at the museum.
Thanks for being with us.
I hope so. Thank you guys so much.